Today we're going to talk about what's next for Brendan Bookie Radley-Hiles. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we're going to talk about what has to come next for Brendan Bookie Radley-Hiles, who just played special teams in the Big 12 title game after playing a ton and getting roasted against West Virginia. But first, let's talk about what is going on with the Heisman race. Now, it felt like 3 or 4 weeks ago that Tua Tagovailoa was going to be the guy awarded the Heisman Trophy because he was the best player on the best team. I'd said that all along, and I consistently have thought that. But it seems that there was an opening that Kyler Murray took advantage of that he didn't know he was taking advantage of. He just did what Kyler Murray usually does, which is go 25 of 34 for 379 yards through the air with 3 TDs against one of the best defenses in the country. And particularly a defense that had given Oklahoma fits and was one reason why Oklahoma lost that game against Texas. But I also said that if Kyler Murray didn't turn the ball over, Oklahoma was probably going to win the game because those 2 turnovers against Texas in the Red River rivalry actually turned the tide, and you could get those points back, you'd be in good shape. And then you got points from the defense and Trey Brown, who is etched into legend status forever for that blitz sack safety against Sam Ehlinger and the Texas Longhorns. But now, as the Heisman ballots are now in, the finalists were announced on Monday night: Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins. I think all 3 of those guys deserve to be there for the ceremony. But interestingly enough, the betting odds flip. Where it had been Tua's trophy all along, bettors now make Kyler Murray the favorite, and we all know that Vegas is pretty good at picking winners. So it would seem that Kyler Murray is going to become a back-to-back Heisman winner for Oklahoma. Might need to rename the quarterback position in Oklahoma just Heisman. I know. But still, when you take into account the things that Kyler has done just with a football, what you've seen with your eyes, and then you look at his stats and how much better he is than Tua Tagovailoa on the stat sheet, it's getting harder and harder and harder to argue against that guy not winning the Heisman Trophy. Matter of fact, earlier on Tuesday morning, I got into an argument on the Sports Animal, like I want to do, Fight Me, with one of my buddies, Dave Sittler, and my buddy, Patrick Masick. And Sittler put to me, yo, what would Oklahoma's record be if Kyler Murray was not the quarterback? To which I took umbrage, because I think that that's like asking, how good would Oklahoma be if Rodney Anderson was still the starting tailback? I mean, it's just not what I'm here for. I look at the stats and the players that you have, because then you get into the Georgia territory of, hey, our loss looks better than your win, which is ridiculous. And so I threw at him that if you're talking about production and you're talking about folks that are actually responsible for how much good you do on a football field, then Memphis' running back Darrell Henderson needs to be in there. And then, Sittler dropped the B-bomb, and it was a good time had by all. I'm not going to have to pay that FCC fine. But it just goes to show that folks are trying to come up with ways to say Kyler Murray does not deserve the Heisman Trophy and that Tua has played better competition and he would have done more if he played in fourth quarters. Well, we don't give away awards for things that you might have done. This is not the should awards. This is the did award. And Kyler Murray did win the Heisman Trophy, if not all season, then this Saturday with his play on the field, for which you cannot ignore. And I get the argument for wanting Kyler Murray not to win the award from some Sooner fans who just kind of have the superstition and the record to point to when you say, historically, Heisman winners don't win their bowl games because motivation of the other team saying, we're playing against the Heisman winner, or that guy that we have should have won the Heisman. Well, I get that. I understand it. I understand it also happened to Oklahoma last year. But I was in the press box at AT&T Stadium when Johnny Football won the Heisman Trophy and then proceeded to tear apart Mike Stoops' defense. It's an A&M victory that will live in lore for a long time because it was the crowning achievement of Johnny Football, who had beaten Alabama earlier in the year. So it's not as if a Heisman Trophy winner cannot go and win a bowl game, especially if that Heisman Trophy winner is quite literally the best quarterback who ever played for a season. It's Kyler Murray, man. On the flip side, as good as Kyler Murray's game against Texas was, that's how bad Brendan Bookie Radley-Hiles' game against West Virginia was. You saw me make scheme videos about how I didn't think it was really his fault. I think that he was put in some unwinnable situations where all you can do is try to make the best of it. It's kind of like what I was saying during the title game of Colin Johnson and LJ Humphrey up against Oklahoma cornerbacks. They're doing everything they know how to do. It's just when you're going up against a 6'6" guy and you're 5'11", you're probably going to lose a jump ball contest. So to that I say, when you see a 6'6" corner, you make sure to offer him. Otherwise, you're going to get what you got out of Trey Brown and Parnell Motley. I know a lot of folks believe that Parnell Motley is the worst corner that they've seen since Jordan Thomas, which is actually just last year. But Parnell Motley is a good cover guy. His ball skills just aren't where you want them to be. That said, he leads the team in interceptions. So what else do you want from the guy? Which is kind of what I'm saying about Bookie. Bookie came to Oklahoma as a 5-star cornerback. He played man press coverage. That's what he was good at. They asked him to not only move to safety, but to nickel, which is not an easy transition for anybody. Julian Wilson probably did it best after Tony Jefferson, but it's just not the kind of position that everybody is built to play. And it is quite honestly the hardest position to play in the defensive backfield, which is another reason why I think they gave it to that guy. However, you could see what kind of a liability he was against spread teams that have 3 and 4 wide receivers that can throw the ball around the field. And Ruffin McNeil and the staff made a good decision to run a base 4-3 hybrid, 3-4 hybrid scheme with Ronnie Perkins as the jack linebacker who gets to put his hand on the ground or stand up depending on what they're calling for the down and distance. And they basically switched out a Bookie for Caleb Kelly. Now, do you want Caleb Kelly matching up in the slot against LJ Humphrey? No, but they took the gamble and it ended up working because they won the game. Now, what does that mean for Bookie going forward? Obviously, he's probably still going to play special teams, but is he really going to play nickelback in 2019? I think you got to move him back to corner. I understand that Oklahoma feels that it's loaded at cornerback and that they're going to have some good guys out there. I also believe that you're taking away what Bookie does well, which is match up on the outside and use that boundary as the extra defender to play his leverages. He just doesn't have the technique right now to win as a nickelback. It's not that he can't get there. It's that if he gets there, you're still not going to get as much upside out of him as if you played him as a corner in bump and run. So what's next for Bookie? I think it has to be transitioning back to corner and seeing if he can regain his confidence and get back to playing the kind of ball that we know he's capable of playing. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.